On the record at 1 p.m.
Back on. Did any distributors provide Mallinckrodt with promotional and marketing services to assist in product sales?
Not that I can recall.
That's not possible.
No, we did, she done it. There it is.
Thanks. I'll show you exhibit number 20, which is base range 0882 to 0884. Let me know when you're ready to discuss.
Okay.
This email starts from a July 26, 2011 email from Julie DePriest to Stephen Becker, Ginger Collier, and Jane Williams. You're CC'd, correct, along with some others?
Correct?
Do you have any reason to believe you didn't receive this in the ordinary course of business?
No.
Who is Julie DePriest?
Julie DePriest, if I recall correctly, was managing contracts potentially at that time. I don't recall.
Okay. One of the things that Julie says is that they're offering a special lower price on the fentanyl patch for new business. Was fentanyl patch, was that one of your products?
I don't recall what I managed at this time.
This is July of 2011. You're still an associate product manager?
That's correct.
If you weren't responsible for the fentanyl patch, why would you be receiving an email like this about Masters?
If the person managing it may have been on vacation, I don't know.
Okay. Was there like an org chart? Was there a list of the products that you were responsible at any specific time?
During this time, from what I remember, there was a lot of, movement. Even in my resume, as it says, product responsibilities to fill void in the department. So, like I said, I don't remember at what dates and what products I managed it when.
In that same email from Julie, in the second paragraph, it says customer Super RX Pharmacy, and it gives an account number, was submitted for a contract for a transaction invoiced on June 11th, but they have not been pre-approved to access this contract. Do you know what that means?
I do not.
Okay. If you turn the page to 0883, it's an email from you to Julie in response. You see that?
I do see that.
It says, I agree, Julie, per the agreement, only approved customers should be accessing this pricing. Is that referring to the special low price on the fentanyl patch?
I don't recall this email. I don't recall this situation. I don't recall anything regarding this at all.
Okay, and I get that. So now I'm asking you whether or not this email refreshes your recollection. There's an email from Julie DePriest to others, including you. You're copied on it, and then you respond to it and send it to Julie and copy the others and say, I agree, Julie. Per the agreement, only approved customers should be accessing this price. So what are you agreeing to?
So to answer your question, no, this does not bring any recollection back to me. I don't recall this agreement. I don't recall.
What were you agreeing to here? It says, I agree, Julie.
I don't recall this I agree. Again, I don't remember anything about this. Per the contract, we're offering a special lower price, and the accounts must be pre-approved and added to the contract prior to submissions. Then my response is, I agree. Per the agreement, only approved customers should be accessing this pricing. So according to this email, that's what I'm agreeing to.
Okay. Can you give me 6481? Showing you Exhibit 21. It's a two-page email, 6481, 6482, page range.
Okay.
On September 16, 2011, Stephanie Pelham sent you an email. Who is Stephanie?
According to this email, Senior Contract Administrator.
Okay. Do you know her as you sit here today?
Yes, I remember Stephanie.
Okay. You have any reason to believe you didn't receive this in the ordinary course of business?
No.
Stephanie's asking you about something that popped up on a peculiar order summary report, correct?
Correct?
And if you turn the page to the beginning of the email, you inquire as to the customer, correct?
Correct.
And then at the top, you respond to Stephanie. You see that?
Yes.
Okay. And you say you spoke with Victor, and they placed an additional month's worth of orders this month. What does it mean that they placed an additional order that month?
So this is a good example as to where I'm kind of the middleman here, right? So Stephanie's reached out to me for additional information per the process that this order is peculiar. We can't release it until we have more information. I reached out to that salesperson. Victor apparently was managing Walgreens at that time, which was the customer in question here. And it looks like he provided all of this information in the email, which I was sending back to Stephanie.
Okay, and the customer, the information that you got from Victor was that the customer was wondering if they should be placing a one-time buy with one of our competitors to make sure they're taken care of, but Vic said not to do that and to go ahead and place the orders, correct?
Yes.
And that was the information that you provided?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Would you give me 0674? Show you Exhibit 22, which goes from 0674 to 0687.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to direct your attention to page 0675, which is the first page of or the second page of the email from you to Luann Randall on August 3rd, 2011. Do you see that?
I do.
You have any reason to believe that you didn't send this in the ordinary course of business?
No?
All right. If you turn the page from there, there's a sheet 0676 which says contract overview. Do you see that?
I do.
It is Sunrise Wholesale. You see that?
Yes.
Contract name. Payment terms, if you go down there a little bit, 2% 30, net 31.
Yes.
All right. And then under rebates, you see it shows a 12% rebate.
I do see that.
All right, and that's to be paid quarterly?
I see that, yes.
Okay. If you turn the page to 0681, which says at the top, term sheet, Mallinckrodt Inc., dosage pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
Are you familiar with these term sheets?
Yeah, so we had a standard template for our terms agreements.
Okay. And does this appear to be one of those standards?
Yes.
Okay. If you go down to pricing,
Yes.
The last sentence of that paragraph, Mallinckrodt will credit customer the difference between the invoice price and current contract price upon receipt and verification of chargeback submissions from customer on a contract number to be established. You see that?
I do.
And then if you turn the page to Exhibit A, which is 0683,
Okay.
we see here well, let's look at the first one, which is NDC 0358-01. It's hydrocodone, I'm not even going to try to say that. And it shows, so it says the product description. It says the size, hundreds. Does that mean a bottle of 100?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Invoice price per bottle.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we have something that this is in the actual term sheet of the contract. It lists the invoice price of $641, right?
Correct.
The contract price is $489, and the net price is $430.
Correct.
Right? All right. What is besides the difference in the numbers? What's the difference between the invoice price per bottle and the contract price per bottle?
The invoice price is the same as the WAC price that I was referring to earlier.
Okay. And WAC stands for?
Wholesaler acquisition cost.
Okay. So here it's what Sunrise, as a wholesaler, was acquiring it at?
Correct. That's
Okay.
what they would, yes.
Okay. And then the contract price is?
The negotiated price.
Okay. And then the net price per bottle, what's the difference between why is there a difference between the contract price and the net price?
If there were any rebates that were negotiated as part of the contract, that takes you from the contract to the net.
And that might be that 15 or 12% that 12% rebate that we saw on the contract overview.
That is correct.
Okay. Now, can we have another conversation about chargebacks and give me an idea what a customer such as Sunrise here would tell you in order to process a chargeback?
I'm sorry. What the customer would tell us?
What would you expect? The term sheet requires a verification of chargeback submission.
Correct.
So if we go to the page that I was just talking about on 0683 and we look at those numbers, what is it you would require to be included in a proper chargeback submission?
Okay, so just to set the stage, this document, these term sheets were drafted by our legal department, so I did not create these term sheets.
Okay.
However, this is part of the chargeback process that we've been referring to all day. So the wholesaler purchases it at WAC or invoice price. It's used interchangeably.
Okay.
We have a negotiated contract price.
Yep.
Anytime they sell a product out to a pharmacy, that's a chargeback, if you will. So however was negotiated with, or however we received that information from Sunrise, whether it daily, weekly, monthly, like we've
Yep.
said all along. So then that would be aggregated
Yep.
chargeback data
Yep.
on who they sold, what pharmacy they sold our inventory to.
So if we look at this first line of bottles of hundreds, and they sold it to a pharmacy for $4.89, okay?
No, that's not correct.
All right, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
So the chargeback data is the quantity that they sold. It doesn't, and I believe you've asked this question before,
I
but
might
it does not include the price that they sold our product to the pharmacy.
Okay.
This is the contract price with Sunrise.
Okay.
So again, that $10, $8 situation, they buy it at 10, their contract price is 8, we get the chargeback data, the aggregated chargeback data, we give them a chargeback of $2.
Right.
So that's this, and this is a standard terms and conditions agreement where this is the pricing.
And so I'm trying to figure out what's the purpose of the chargeback? Why not just sell it to them for $2 less in the first instance?
The purpose of the chargeback, I mean, so it's the WAC price is a wholesaler acquisition cost. So they purchase the price
got it.
at WAC.
Yep.
So what's the purpose of that? Why
Now,
did they
what's the purpose of submitting the chargeback?
Well, I mean, to get it back to the negotiated contract price. I mean, that's when I entered in the industry, that was what was done with wholesalers. However, we took it a step further and utilized that chargeback data as referenced multiple times already today with our suspicious order monitoring team to get into more detail information to try to understand our customer's customer. So it was utilized, chargebacks were utilized above and beyond what the purpose of,
And-
in regards to the pricing.
And that was my point. It provided you additional data.
Well, yeah, we had the data. Yeah, we had the
Right.
chargeback data.
Right. and I have 9,400. Exhibit number 23 is an email that goes from 9,400 to 9,404.
Okay.
This is an email that you sent to several people on October 10th, 2011. Do you see that?
Do, yes.
You're a product manager now.
I am.
Okay, congratulations. Do you have any reason to believe that you didn't send this in the ordinary course of your business?
No.
All right. Do you know what letters that you're referring to here in this email? When it says we are sending letters to customers?
So anytime that there was a supply constraint and we had to put a product on allocation, we would notify customers to set expectations with them.
Okay. When you say supply constraint, are you talking about a quota?
Well, as it states in this email on the first bullet point, or the second set of bullets, the first one, it says this interruption in supply is not due to an API shortage, but instead due to quota constraints.
Okay, so it's quota.
It is quota.
All right. It also indicates that you submitted a request to the DEA for more quota. Is that something that you did?
No.
How did you find out that that was something that was done?
Again, through our monthly forecasting meetings, Karen Harper and her team were, from my recollection, were involved in that to an extent to understand our the forecast. And so communications were happening all the time between the various departments. So marketing was apparently made aware that we had requested more quota. I don't remember who sent that notification or anything like that. So
Was that a usual process for Mallinckrodt to request additional quota?
usual, I know it happened. I don't know how frequently.
Okay. You indicated that there would be an allocation. Was there an allocation report or an allocation list? Does that ring a bell to you?
So it appears that there was a list. You know, what it states is direct customers with their monthly allocation would have been included in the letters. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. I'm going to show you exhibit number 24, which goes from 6071 to 6072. And I'm just trying to figure out if you know what these allocations, what the purpose of this allocation list is.
Oh.
I mean, is this a report or a list that you're familiar with? And
Okay, first of all, this is not an email that I would have, that I'm on or included on.
I didn't say that it was.
Sure. I don't know what this report is.
Okay, that's fine. So maybe you used the term allocation letter. Is that something you're familiar with when we were talking about those letters?
So we're going back to 9400?
And not really. I'm
Oh.
asking you if you're just
Gotcha.
in general familiar with the terms allocation letter as it related to customers in Mallinckrodt.
Yeah, anytime, what comes to mind from our recollection is anytime that, you know, that situation that I referred to earlier where we had supply constraints and had to put a product on allocation, we would send a letter to customers, considered an allocation letter, if you will, to notify them and set expectations.
All right, let me show you, give me 5946.
Okay,
Is that your handwriting?
that is my handwriting.
Okay. So this was from you to Victor saying you received his voicemail. You're asking him to please send you Oxy 15 and 30 usage,
Correct?
and he does send you that?
Yes?
Any reason to believe you didn't receive that in the ordinary course of business?
No.
Okay. He tells you in Florida they are the largest Oxy 15 and 30 milligram dispensers and currently use Activist for both SKUs,
Yes?
correct? What data would you use to determine that Activist is the one that is providing them with those SKUs?
I wouldn't have any data to confirm that.
Okay. So you don't know how he came up with that statement?
I don't know where
Okay.
he came up with that information.
Do you know why you indicated willing to write letter to to the DEA as it related to this?
What I can think of is, I don't recall this specific situation, first of all, but if there were a situation where this quantity were to put our forecast, well above our capacity constraints, with, quota, in regards to quota, and we wouldn't be able to supply them, we would have to go back to the DEA. Again, that was not me doing that, but the compliance team, Karen Harp and her team, would put together a packet of information in terms of why we were requesting additional quota. Whether it was approved or not, I don't, but in terms of, it appears that Walgreens was willing to write a letter. But yeah.
The next bullet there says wanting favor as to where we would price them to make sure Activist is pricing them right. Do you know what that has? You know what they're asking you? Are they asking you for a quote?
I don't remember specifically on this situation, but the way it reads is that they're wanting to, because it looks like that activists can't supply them for whatever reason,
Right.
and they have a certain price, and they're wanting to stay at that price. That's what it appears to be.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to show you exhibit number 26, which is base range 9509 to 9515. Yeah, you can put stickers over mine if you want.
Yeah,
but-
that's fine.
All right. What number was that I just handed you?
26.
Okay.
Yeah. That one says 26.
Yeah, what is the one before it?
This one's 25.
Okay.
This one's 23. This one's 24.
Okay.
Okay.
You know what Hazelwood Operations is?
It was, from what I recall, a automated email from our system. So an automated email that was set to run, for example, at a certain time or something.
All right, you have any reason to believe you didn't receive this email in the ordinary course?
No.
And then you forwarded something on to, and I think it's probably the attachment, to Ginger and to others.
That is correct.
Who is George Saffold?
Oh, George Saffold. Oh, I remember the name, but I do not remember his role.
All right, no problem. Your email, you indicate you've eliminated back orders on oxycodone IR by future dating orders. What does that mean?
So it's just a system. So when an order is generated or in our system, it would have an order date. And so this report was generated based on that order date. And so in order to, we would change that date to, so it wasn't considered a back order for internal purposes. I don't know. I mean, mainly because this is just an assumption based on what was going on at this time. Again, knowing that product was put on allocation from this prior email, in October 2011. This is November 2011. So we had communicated per 9400 document.
Per the allocation letters.
Per the allocation letters that we had communicated to customers on their amount that we were able to ship them.
Right.
Some customers followed that letter, some customers didn't, so that we would have orders in-house, and per our prior communication, we would only be able to ship X amount during X amount of time.
So if you didn't put this date in the future, it would generate another allocation letter?
No, the allocation was like a manual
Oh, okay.
letter PDF, if you will.
Okay.
So that was sent to customers, and that allocation didn't change.
So,
I mean, from,
right, I get the allocation
Sure.
didn't change, but once you send the allocation letter out, do you expect the customer to send you another order immediately?
well, they'll order as needed. So we're telling them, like, let's say X customer normally orders 1,000 bottles a month. We're telling them, as part of this allocation process, we can only ship you 100 bottles a month. Now, whether or not they comply with that notification or not differed, right? So that customer may have continued to place 1,000 bottles every month, knowing that we have already communicated to them that we can only supply them 100.
Okay, and how does that then tie into future dating the order?
So as I mentioned before, so the order in the system would have an order date. So basically when the customer places the order. And if we have communicated to them, we're not going to ship you this product until next month, for example, we've future dated those orders.
Okay, that's what I think.
Yeah,
Right,
to follow the allocation.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
All right. Could you give me 8924? And then give me those tier emails. Thanks. I'm going to show you what is marked as exhibit number 27, base range 8931. I got 3 of those.
Okay?
All right, we finally have an email with Jennifer Boyce on it,
There
right?
she is.
All right, she exists. So this email was sent from Jennifer to you on 3/12/2012. Any reason to believe you didn't get it?
No.
Do you know who Eileen Spalding is?
Eileen worked in, I believe was she part of she was up in, she was located up in our manufacturing facility in New York. She may have been part of Karen Harper's team at the time. I don't recall the specifics, though, regarding her position at that time.
Okay, so she is telling you about an Amerisource Bergen order. Do you see that?
I do.
She also indicates that it exceeds our Tier 1 limit. Do you know what that is?
I'm not familiar with, it states monthly allocation plus 10% in the email, but again, I'm not familiar with any of the tiers or algorithms from the suspicious order monitoring team.
Okay, so when you received this email, did you ask anybody what the Tier 1 limit meant?
I don't remember what conversations took place back in March of 2012 regarding this email.
Okay, so did you ever know what the Tier 1 limit was?
Well, I was clearly given that notification in this email.
Okay. Do you know how the tiers were selected?
No, I don't know how the details regarding the tiers or the algorithms or any of that was determined, other than what I'm seeing in front of me.
So when you receive an email like this that asks you to provide insight, what is it that you would have done in your normal course of business?
So again, at this point in time, in March of 2012, I was a product manager, so if I had any additional insight as to what was going on with AmerisourceBergen, their contract changes, new awards or anything, I could have provided that information. If I wasn't aware of anything myself, I would have reached out to the sales person responsible for AmerisourceBergen at that time. If they were not aware, then they would have reached out to AmerisourceBergen. So again, kind of the middlemen, just trying to provide information, going back to the suspicious order monitoring process to validate orders.
I'm going to show you Exhibit 28, which is 8924 and 8925.
Okay.
This is an email that looks to be from Jennifer to you and Karen Harper as well as others, correct?
Correct.
This was sent on March 13, 2012.
Correct.
So you're still a product manager at that point in time?
Correct.
Any reason to believe you didn't get this in the ordinary course of business or send these emails?
No.
It says, Lisa, we have an order on Tier 2 hold, which is exhibiting an unusual pattern. What's a Tier 2 hold?
Again, I was not familiar with the suspicious order monitoring tiers. However, as it states, the quantity order exceeds their 18-month average by more than 3x. So that's pretty much all I know about Tier 2
Okay.
that I can recall.
You sent this on to Jennifer Bullardick. What was Jennifer's position?
She was also a product manager.
And then she forwarded directly to Jennifer and indicated we've been on back order, so it seems like a feasible quantity.
Yes.
Okay. But your only experience with Tier 2 is what you just read right here?
From what I recall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I have 4784? I'll show you Exhibit 29, which is 4784 to 4786. Let me know when you're ready to discuss it.
Okay.
So on the bottom of the first page, you're sending an email to Cheryl Nelson. You know who Cheryl Nelson is?
At the bottom of the first.
4784.
Oh, Cheryl Nelson, yes, customer service.
You know why Hazelwood is next to her? Or is that a separate? No, it's the same email address, it looks like.
I'm sorry, where do you see the?
Well, I see from Cardetti, Lisa M. Lundergan, sent Monday, March 26, 2012,
Okay.
to Nelson Cheryl,
Oh.
Hazelwood.
I don't know.
Okay. Who is Rose Adams?
Rose Adams managed the distribution center up in Hobart, New York.
Clay Saunders?
Clay Saunders was the buyer at AmerisourceBergen.
Okay. And then you indicate, please allocate these orders to ship. Are you referring to the orders on page 4785?
That's what it appears, yes.
And if you move up on that page 4784 from, it's from Dosage Products Division Pharmaceuticals to you. Do you know who Dosage Products Division is?
If I recall, that was a generic customer service email.
Okay. And it refers you to the order numbers below, and it says, I am unable to allocate, and there's a problem with these having been on D1 and D2 hold. Do you know what D1 and D2 hold is?
I believe those were suspicious order monitoring holds. I don't recall 100%, but I believe those were the SOM holds.
Do you know how the holds relate to the tiers, if they do?
The holds was an a system generated, so I don't know how all of that was correlated systematically. To answer your question now,
Do you know whether there were other holds besides a D1 and a D2?
yes, there were other customer service holds or system holds. Yeah,
Okay. So there would be like a D3 hold?
I don't remember all of the holds.
Was there a list of the holds and what the holds meant that you had access to at some point in time?
Customer service had that list. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
If you go to the last sentence there, it says, but I am unable to remove the PM hold and or allocate. What is a PM hold?
Again, I don't remember all the specifics on what the holds.
Do you have a general understanding of what PM hold means?
I do not. It could have been a variety of different reasons why that was on hold.
Now, when you became a regional account manager, that's when you left marketing and went to sales, correct?
Regional account manager.
Do I have that right?
No.
Okay.
So I was a regional account manager. What sales?
It was sales.
Yes.
It was the first time you were in sales.
Correct.
Okay, so,
Yes,
so
sorry.
the answer is yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's all right.
But I didn't leave sales after that.
No.
Was that your question?
No,
I'm
my
sorry.
question was, when you started as a regional account manager, were you now in the sales department?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And your compensation in the sales department was one of the factors was related to volume, right? Correct?
One of the factors related to sales.
Sales, which was volume of product.
Price obviously goes into sales.
Okay. So price and the volume of the product.
The way that I remember the compensation is based on sales. So how you come up with sales is volume and price.
Did you set the price?
Throughout, kind of as we've discussed today, sales had the discussions with customers. It was not a single, I did not decide the price single-handedly. It was a collaborative discussion between sales and marketing. Management approved all of the pricing that went into Any offer or contract?
What went into a offer as it related to pricing? What was the process that was utilized?
Yeah, so if you remember, the terms and conditions was the general meat and potatoes of the agreement with the customer. And so if you remember, there was an Exhibit A, so this is just an example. So when that agreement was put into place with that customer, those were the prices at that time. So
The WAC price, the net price,
Right.
the cost, okay, yeah.
Right. So anytime that there was a change to that price, there would basically be an amendment to that agreement, to that exhibit. Some customers even had their own terms template, so I don't want to say that every single one looked exactly like that by any means. But that was the general concept. So it was typically a one-page document that included the product and the price that was being offered.
Do this one? 7943. Should be before this one. Thank you. I'm going to show you Exhibit 30, which is 7943 to 7945, and more of the compensation type questions that I was just asking.
Sure. Okay.
Are you familiar with this document?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
So we would provide Jane Williams, who I reported to at this time, just a monthly report on activity of my accounts in my territory.
What was your territory?
My territory was account-based
And what do you mean by that?
by customer,
So it wasn't geography, it was by customer.
correct.
Okay. From this document, can you tell who your customers were?
I can.
Okay. And who were your customers?
If you look at 7944 under customer updates, they're
Yep.
bulleted.
Okay. So NC Mutual, Premier Group, FW Care, Harvard Drug, Meyer, Price Chopper, Omnicare, ExcelRx, ABC, and AHP.
That is correct.
What's AHP?
AHP is a repackaging division of AmerisourceBergen.
Okay. If we go back to the first page of this document, 7943, territory sales summary based on fiscal months, the territory, and it lists your names. Measure is gross sales. And then it lists fiscal year 2012 and fiscal year 2013. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
All right. And what's the VAR? What is that?
Variance.
Okay. And that's a negative variance?
Yes. So
And-
as you can see, fiscal year 12 was 91.5 million. Fiscal year 13 was 72.396 million, which leads a 19.178 variance.
Okay, and it shows you the units, the spread between 12 and 13 as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is P&L profit and loss,
Yes.
including methylphenidate ER?
Methylphenidate ER, yes.
Yeah, that's a Schedule 2? Or is it not?
I believe so. It was for ADHD. I
Okay.
believe it was, yeah. I believe that was a Schedule 2, though.
It wasn't, right?
I believe it was a
was.
Schedule 2,
Okay.
but it was for ADHD.
If we look at the excluding the ADHD drug, then we're talking about all opioids, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, we had other products in our portfolio.
That you were responsible for with your accounts?
I was, I mean, when you're in sales, you have responsibility for the customer, but, I mean, you could have been selling opiates and non-opioids.
And can you tell me in 2013 what non-opioids you were responsible for selling?
I don't remember.
Could you name one?
Well, methylphenidate is a
Okay.
product.
How about besides methylphenidate?
um, Diazepam, maybe? I don't recall. I know that we had non-opioid products.
And if you look at the P&L excluding the ADHD drug,
Yes?
under rebates and fees, is that showing how much was paid in rebates and fees in your territory for this period of time?
Yes, that is what that's showing.
And that is showing that okay. And if you go down to net sales for the prior rolling 12 months and then the rolling 12 months, there's a variance, and that variance is 49% between the last 12 months, right?
Yes?
Okay. So do you know how that number is up, but if you go to the top box that we talked about, those numbers are down?
Well, clearly it's driven from methylphenidate
Oh,
ER.
that answers the question. Thank
Yeah.
you. And if you turn the page and you look at the top of 7944, what is Hydro APAP 325 business?
Hydrocodone acetaminophen, 325 milligram.
Do you know, were you responsible for any other opioid product besides, were you selling any other product besides the 325 milligram Hydro?
Sure, yeah, I mean, I was selling various products.
Why do you have a box for that specific molecule?
Trying to remember. When was this? July? I don't recall. I don't remember.
Okay. Do you know why, if you look under customer, it says Omnicare, and then there's a black line that goes across? You see that?
Yes.
Do you know what that black line is? Was that something you put into the document?
Yeah, it was just a way for me to distinguish between customers. It was just a format that I did.
You know who Thomas Brown is?
Thomas Brown. I don't remember a Thomas Brown.
Are you familiar with the Red Flags video?
The red flags video, I do vaguely remember that video.
What was it?
If I recall correctly, it was a video in regards to how pharmacists could kind of recognize potential diversion. I mean, in regard, like at the pharmacy, if I am remembering the correct video.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to use it, just not now. I'm going to show you Exhibit 32, which is 7538 through 7540. Let me know when you're ready to... What's this attached to that? If you look at the initial email, which is June 6, 2014, from you to Walt Kazmarek. Who's Walt?
He was the president
The president
of Generics.
Okay. Jane Williams, Ginger Collier, and Jacob Longnecker, who we've talked about. You have any reason to believe you didn't send this in the ordinary course of business?
No, I do not.
The 5325 items, what are 5325s?
Well, we had some product. 5325 is a milligram.
Okay.
Based on the context of this email, it appears that I'm referring to hydrocodone 5325.
Okay.
Just knowing that in the second page on 7540, how it states 7.5 325 and 10 325, I just remember that those were the strengths of that product.
Okay. If you look at page 7540, the last page,
Yes,
do you see above thank you and Lisa, it says Qualitest?
I do.
What is that?
Qualitest is a manufacturer.
So do you know why you had ... Qualitest, exclamation, 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 exclamation?
I do not.
Happy face?
I do not remember why I put Qualitest.
And Qualitest was a manufacturer of what?
They manufactured many products. They were a competitor.
Who is Alvagen?
Alvagen is another manufacturer.
So if we look at number 1 under the first email on page 7539, the 5325 items were moved to the base VIP. What are the purpose of the tiers that you're setting forth here?
So this is a volume incentive program, a VIP that we've discussed previously, and these are the tiers set for AmerisourceBergen.
Okay, so they get 85,000 to 94,000. That's pills or bottles?
That's dollars.
I'm sorry, dollars, right. Okay. And so each of those tiers, that's the incentive price that's paid.
Depending on where their sales were, that's what the rebate percentage.
So what's the point of showing the 7% and then the $6 million number?
That's simply a calculation of what that rebate would be
If they hit that mark?
if they hit that,
Okay.
correct?
And then 2 talks about oxy-APAP VIP. So is that a different molecule?
That is.
All right, and that is another incentive program?
It appears that it's a separate program, yes.
So it doesn't say rebate though, but it shows a percentage of, under the first line, which is 20 million to almost 25 million. 4% and then minimum tier compliant, what does that mean? 40%? You know?
I don't remember what that would have been
Okay, but this is on Oxy, and instead of it being, it's an annual tier program, right?
on Oxy APAP.
Right.
Oxy acetaminophen combination product.
All right, and there shows you annual tiers and quarterly tiers. If you turn the page to number 3, it says we are not decreasing price as ABC requested, but the VIP quarterly payout should help them with decreasing their sales out price compared to the other manufacturer, Allergan, right?
Yes.
All right, if you then go to the first page of this email, this is an email from you to some of these people, which is now referring to this pricing, correct?
It looks like it is discussing the VIP program.
Okay. And it says the VIP percent is passed directly on to 40% of their customers. Therefore, those customers would see the value. and we could expect to see the volume back up. So that's 40% of ABC's customers?
Yes, that's how I read that, correct?
Okay. Earlier, you indicated we're not decreasing the price, but here in bullet 2, it says if we do not decrease the price, there's no additional benefit to ABC. Only those large customers would see the benefit. What do you mean by that?
So as noted in the first bullet, only 40% of their customers get additional rebates from ABC. And so that leaves 60% of their customers that do not. So as it states, if we don't decrease the price, there's no additional benefit to ABC. So that 60% of those customers, wouldn't see any change in their end. Because typically if you were to decrease your price, we have no control over how the wholesaler set their sell prices, nor did we know what their sell prices were with their customers. But you can just make the assumption that if you don't do anything with the price, that the price would stay constant.
And so the next one says in order to drive the volume back up for all customers, that additional 60%, we would need to drop the price.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And down at the bottom in that second to last paragraph, it says a lot, but one of the things it says is since Rich would be the final decision maker on the margin issue, who is Rich?
Rich was at AmerisourceBergen.
Okay. What was Rich's last name?
Rich. It's on the tip of my tongue. Hang on. Tremonte.
Thank you. Um, 1216. Are you familiar with the term key opinion leader?
Key opinion. Vaguely. Key opinion leader.
What is your understanding of that terminology?
Key opinion leader. A decision maker, potentially.
Did you ever work with doctors in order to speak to any of your clients about any of your products?
No.
What was that last number?
32?
All right.
31? I don't know what that
I
is.
don't know. That's 32.
Okay. I don't have a 31.
Oh, then,
I can look.
yeah, we need to look back to make sure.
Yeah.
Last is it should be 31, I think.
The last one was 31?
Yeah, so the next one should be 32.
I like 31. I'll show you exhibit number 32, which is bait range 1216 and 1217.
I think the last one was 32. This one's 33.
I thought so, but
Yeah, see, this is what, I got it right here. The one that ended 75, 38.
Should be 32, right?
Yeah, that should be 32. Let me just make sure there was a 31. Unless that's.
No.
Maybe.
It was.
Maybe we
I think you
misspoke.
mistakenly called it out as 32.
Oh, maybe.
In sequence, it
Maybe,
should have been
okay.
31.
75, 38 should be 31? Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll fix that in the transcript.
Oh, I put it on my own thing, that's what happened.
Oh, okay.
That's what happened. All right, one screw up.
It's a long day.
Yeah.
Okay.
1216 is an email from you to you, dated 9/30/2014. I assume you BCC'd some customers with this?
Yes, that's,
Okay.
yeah.
You know what the purpose of this teleconference was?
It appears to discuss the DEA's ruling on rescheduling hydrocodone combination products.
As a
And-
Schedule 2, correct?
I'm sorry, as a Schedule 2, yes. And inviting customers to participate if they were interested.
And the moderator, Bob Twillman, how did you find Mr. Twillman?
I did not facilitate this. This would have been from another group. And this is a good example of an email where legal or corporate compliance would have drafted this and then sent this to sales to say, okay,
Send it to
send this to
customers.
your customers.
Okay. Missing something. Exhibit 33. Zero 0440 through 0442.
Okay.
If you look at the, so this is a October 2nd, 2014, it's your September monthly report to Jane Williams about territory sales summary, correct?
Correct.
It looks like your sales from 13 to 14 went up 52%. You see that?
I do.
You sold less units. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's what it appears.
So how do you account for that?
I don't know the specifics, but it appears that there was a price increase.
Okay. Were these documents used for purposes of determining your compensation? Do you know?
Not that I am aware of. I mean, from my perspective, Jane used this to just keep, I mean, there were obviously a lot going on with each account, so just so she was aware of kind of everything going on.
How would you receive bonuses?
How?
Yeah. Somebody give you a box of cash?
No, it would be in a paycheck.
Okay. And would the check indicate to you what bonus, what made up the bonus? Would it indicate,
What?
based on sales, what would it tell you, if anything?
We would have an annual review with the manager, so in this case, Jane, to review the year, what my goals were, if I accomplished those goals, any, personal development things that, so it would be a comprehensive review of the year. And at that point in time, from what I recall, they would provide, feedback on where the sales hit throughout the, where the sales came in for my customers. Yeah.
And so was there a name to that form?
That was like a meeting.
Okay. Was there some sort of an evaluation that was provided to you, or that you?
I believe the evaluation was all done online.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you say done online, the two of you sitting in front of a computer, or?
No, so all of the goals that were determined at the beginning of the year were put in online. We could go in throughout the year to type in notes on, okay, if one of my goals as a personal development was to take an Excel class, for example, I could go in there and say, okay, that goal has been completed, and this is the class I took, these are the learnings from that class, etc. So we had access to that portal to kind of update along the year, excuse me, throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, prior to that one-on-one meeting that I was referring to, I would go in and update and make comments on each specific goal. And Jane, the manager at that point in time would also make comments.
And do you remember what that portal was called?
I do not.
Was volume of sales one of the items that were on your goal list?
Yeah, typically sales would be part of that bonus structure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that would be set forth at the beginning, so you knew what you were supposed to reach.
Right, and there was always, from what I remember, like verbiage in the agreement that those could be changed from management or whatever, but generally speaking, yes, you knew what those goals were. Not necessarily at the beginning of the year, because sometimes those targets didn't even come until mid-year.
But the targets were listed someplace.
Yeah,
For you to say.
yeah.
Did you ever go on any trips with any of your customers?
Trips?
Yeah,
No.
conferences or seminars or?
There were there were industry trade shows where they attended and I would attend, but I didn't go with them.
Were there any trips that Mallinckrodt would sponsor where they would take ABC or some of its principals on a trip with the sales department?
I don't recall any trips that no.
Okay. Okay. Get that one. I'm gonna want to move C over there and move A over. I'll show you what's marked as Exhibit 34. Which is 4121, and it's a spreadsheet. And this is how it was produced to us.
Okay.
Any of this familiar to you?
There's a lot of reports
Yeah?
in this. I don't know if I ran these. I mean, these,
I don't know if you did either.
yeah.
If you look at the first page of this, it says row labels, values,
Yes.
some of shelf stock estimate, some of annual savings. Any idea what a shelf stock estimate is?
So sometimes customers would request or require a shelf stock payment if it's like a new award, if they've never stocked the product before. Yeah, that's what that is.
If you turn the page to price comparison, have you seen a report like this?
This does not look familiar. It looks like an ad hoc report that was put together.
If you turn the page, 2 pages, to where it says fiscal year 2011 up in the top,
Yes?
EDI distributor data analysis, do you know what that is?
So EDI is an electronic data feed. When, like the chargebacks, for example, would typically be transmitted EDI from the wholesaler to Mallinckrodt.
So this is how the chargebacks would come to Mallinckrodt?
No, no. From my understanding, it'd be coming in a monster data feed electronically. I don't know. I never saw what the raw data looked like, but this appears to have come out of one our like a tool that we used to gather data, to pull data. Yeah, I don't know. Quantity on hand for inventory. Oh, quantity. Okay, so now, sorry, this headings are really hard to see. Quantity on hand,
Uh-huh.
morgue inventory, quantity on order. It looks like that may be from their 852 data, which is like inventory, like what the wholesaler stocked.
From Mallinckrodt?
Mallinckrodt's product.
Okay.
Yeah. So quantity on hand, at first AmerisourceBergen, their inventory levels, it looks like.
And then the next, if you go a few pages, it says new WAC table. Any idea what that is?
I don't.
I mean, other than it's setting the WAC price for certain SKUs?
That's what it appears, yeah. I have no other context, I can't.
Are you familiar
comment.
with what prompt pay is?
It's a cash discount. So 2%, 30, net 31.
Okay. And that would be whatever the contractual terms were?
Absolutely, yes.
Thanks. Thanks. We're getting close, though.
Yeah.
I feel like time has stopped. Anyone else?
I only have one more binder. And half of this one. Exhibit 35. This is 0810 to 0811 with a spreadsheet attached. The subject is leases allocations.
Yes.
Any reason to believe that you didn't send this on September 28, 2011?
No.
Why were you sending leases allocations to the folks that you sent leases allocations to?
Yeah, so the majority of these people on here are customer service, which is who released the orders from back order or whatever hold status there were to ship.
So this was an instruction to somebody to ship something to somebody?
This was a file to release shipments, based on allocation. So again, if you remember the allocation conversation from earlier where we had, for example, a quota constraint communicated to customers, you would be shipped X amount of inventory on a monthly basis. This is an example of a report that would be sent to, so all of those orders would go on hold. This is an example of a report that, because I would be managing the allocations from that perspective, knowing what we had communicated to customers, telling them what we could ship. So this is a report based on like that type of communication to customers, for example, on releasing shipments, and customer service would manually do that.
And if you look at the third page, I think, is where it gives you order number, item description, quantity ordered, back ordered quantity.
Yes?
So the quantity ordered, exempt for the top order 702-08636, it shows the quantity order was 120 and it showed that the whole back order was 120.
Correct.
And now so what is the next marketing, you know what that is?
Comments is what it looks like.
Oh, okay. And then if you go 2 pages past it, it talks about product manager, order date, request date. I assume this is one spreadsheet.
Yeah, I would assume that.
It shows you a weekly forecast total.
Mm-hmm.
What is a W through M weekly usage?
From what I remember, that was Walmart's weekly usage.
Was Walmart one of your accounts?
At this point, I think I was in product management. Yeah, in 2011.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah.
So it was just the product that you were talking about.
Right. So it looks like I was releasing allocations for oxyapap, oxycodone. That's what it appears, yeah.
All right. Can I take 10 minutes to see what I've got?
We're going off the record at 2:42.